Dear learners, welcome to this teleconferencing session on carbohydrate, which is a part of BSc Food Safety and Quality Management. As we know, carbohydrate is very important for our diet also. Almost our whatever the energies or calories we are taking as a part of daily diet, almost 60 to 70% of calories we are getting from the carbohydrate, and carbohydrate is a very important nutrient, we can say, and whatever the energy getting for different functions of body, that is from carbohydrate. And on this particular carbohydrate topic, we are going to discuss the different aspects of carbohydrate, what is carbohydrate and what are the different classes of carbohydrate, then functions of carbohydrate, and what are the important example and nutritional significance of carbohydrate. Today we are going to discuss that all the things with Professor Dr. Harinder Singh sir, and he is from Motilal Nehru National Institute of Technology. Sir, welcome to this program.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Before starting, I just want to share that sir has done research work on particularly starches, that is a part of carbohydrate, we can say, that is one polysaccharide is there. And welcome sir. I want to ask, what are the carbohydrate and what are the basic thing about carbohydrate, how we will define the carbohydrate for our learners.
Yes, that's thank you for inviting me, and that's very important topic, because we are driving most of our energy from carbohydrates in our diet. So carbohydrates are organic compounds having carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. We can also define them as hydrates of carbon, but that definition is not so exact. So we can call them as polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones. Okay. And we can also say that their general formula is CH2O bracket, that is N. However, there are exceptions like acetic acid, lactic acid, and some carbohydrates like ramino-hexose, which is C6H12O5.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I just want to share that carbohydrate are in daily life we will use a sugar. That sugar is also carbohydrate, that is sweet in taste and soluble in water. Suppose sometimes we will say some different carbohydrates are there, like complex carbohydrate are there, and complex carbohydrate plays a very important role in our life also. They will slowly release the sugar in our body, as well as this carbohydrate is insoluble somewhat in normal condition. If temperature is normal, in that condition this is insoluble in water, we can say. Sir, what are the different classes of carbohydrate? Can you share for
that's very pertinent question. These can be classified as monosaccharides, oligosaccharides and polysaccharides. As we can see on our slides, that monosaccharides are simple sugars, like they will have single aldehyde or ketone unit, but there may be multiple hydroxy units, multiple hydroxy functional groups, and they serve as building blocks of as we go up, like oligosaccharides or polysaccharides. Oligosaccharides contain 2 to 10 monosaccharides, which units joined together by glycosidic bonds, whereas polysaccharides, if we go when we say the polymerization or degree of polymerization greater than 10 or more than 10 monosaccharides units are joined together by glycosidic bonds, and the polysaccharides may be linear or branched. So yes, as an example, we have polysaccharides like starch, gum, pectin, and then monosaccharides we have which are simple sugars containing short chains of carbon atoms with one aldehydic or ketonic group and bearing multiple hydroxyl groups, and these can be classified based on number of carbon atoms. Like monosaccharide, if we have monosaccharide can be regarded as trioses if there are 3 carbons in the chain, tetraoses if 4 carbon, pentoses if 5 carbon, hexoses 6 carbon like glucose and fructose, and then haptosis.
Thank you, sir. There are two types of different monosaccharides are there.
Yes.
One is the aldoses. Aldoses means those monosaccharides having C double bond OH group, and another portion is the ketoses that contains ketone group is there, that is C double bond O group is there, and these two types of sugars are there. If we will take example of single sugar, that is monosaccharide, in that one is a ketone. If 6 carbon atom having one simple sugar, that is glucose, we will take example of glucose. Glucose is having 6 carbons. Similarly, that is aldose is there, and another portion is there, that is fructose is there. Fructose is also having a similar kind of number of carbon atom, and that is having ketose group. So we can say keto sugar and we can say aldose sugar. Those are the two example of different classes of we can say monosaccharides are there. Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Yeah, that same example you told, aldoses and ketoses.
Yes.
The structures are given here. We can see there are 6 carbon in both glucose and fructose, and we have ketone group in fructose,
yes,
and aldehyde group in our glucose.
Yes, sir. Then when we will see the carbohydrate, then another classification of carbohydrate, that is disaccharides is there. Already we have discussed that 2 to 10. In that category, this is one oligosaccharide. This is having a 2 monosaccharides unit are there. If we will take example of this 2 monosaccharide, that is particularly we will take example of sucrose. Sucrose is having 1 glucose and plus 1 glucose. Glucose 2 monosaccharides attached by the glycosidic bond, that become the we can say disaccharide, that is sucrose is there. When we will take another example, that is lactose is there. Lactose is one molecule of glucose and 1 molecule of, we can say, another molecule related to the galactose. Glucose plus galactose, that is lactose is there, and lactose is very important sugar present in the milk. And when we are using in daily life whatever the sugar, that is sucrose is there, that is we can say disaccharide of glucose and glucose. So this kind of disaccharides are there. When we will move to another third category of particularly polysaccharide, third category is the polysaccharide. And polysaccharide means particularly when we are discussing particularly,
yes.
So the number of carbon atom, number of monosaccharide molecular, that is more than 10. So already sir has mentioned that there are 2 different types of polysaccharides are also there. One is the branch chain polysaccharide and linear chain polysaccharides are there. And another one important thing that is homopolysaccharides. Homopolysaccharides means particularly glucose means when we will hydrolyze that particular 2 polysaccharides, they will yield only one or single type of monosaccharides.
Yes.
If we will take example of particularly starch and cellulose, particularly starch, in case of starch there are glucose, so many glucose unit linked by this glycosidic bond. If we will take another example of another polysaccharide, particularly that is heteropolysaccharide, and then that when we hydrolyze that heteropolysaccharide, we will get different monosaccharides. Yes.
Yeah.
So then we will see different monosaccharides are there. The example of monosaccharide, that is we can say this heteropolysaccharide, mucopolysaccharides are there. Yes. And when we will see this polysaccharides are there, what kind of another polysaccharides are there?
Yeah. Thank you very much, because that topic is very close to my heart. Polysaccharide, I want to give one example of heteropolysaccharide as gum gati, so which my research group at the present is working. It consists of many types of sugar like glucose, arbinose, and fructose, and and uronic acid also there. When we have the example of heteropolysaccharides, we usually have gums. So those gums, which are very important, so they are important as dietary fiber, and they are their important function, which we are going to discuss in some next slides, as thickener, stabilizer, emulsifier, and having many these medicinal effects also.
You have mentioned that gum ghati is one of the complex carbohydrate is there.
Yeah.
What kind of different uses of this particularly gum ghati?
Okay, great. That if you remember, traditionally when in India we have lactating women or women get pregnant, they are given laddus, gond ka laddu.
Yes.
So those laddus having gond help them in pain relief, anti-inflammatory, and then other therapeutic effects are like bowel movement, because these serve as dietary fiber. Then if you are asking me about particular application in food industry, so serving as stabilizer, serving as emulsifier, so lot of means functional properties they impart to the food in the food products in the food industry. So these are very important.
Thank you, sir. Another one polysaccharide is there that is related to starch.
Yeah.
So what kind of uses of starch is there, and what kind of properties having the starch particularly?
Yeah, starch is homopolysaccharide, as you told, that is glucose, these glucose molecule joined together by glycosidic bond. So when starch has have lot of uses, like first serving as storage of energy in leaves and this plants, and then also in our body they also get when the metabolism start, they also give off energy. And then important functions are like we are producing this dextrins from starch in the food industry. Then a lot of functional groups, sometimes we add carboxylation and cross-linking. These give food product stabilization and against pH and temperature. And then you can say we have also starch as a food product, like starch noodles, which we are eating, semaiya, which I think in Indian name is semaiya. So starch is also very important polymer for the food industry.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing this one importance of starch and gum ghati.
Yeah.
Then when we will look into the different nutritional aspect of particularly carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is very important for the human, as already in starting period, starting of the program, I have shared that one. And when we will look into the different nutritional aspect of this particularly carbohydrate provide the energy, as already I told that one. And if we'll take the example of another function of this carbohydrate is act as it will spare the particularly whatever the protein is there, protein sparing action we can say. Protein generally we will use for the particular case of protein, our body will use for the bodybuilding, and we can say for the muscle building purpose. If we will use that protein for the energy purpose, it will impact on the bodybuilding and muscle building function.
Right.
So this protein come and protein act as a source of energy. So whatever the function of protein will be utilized for that one.
Right.
Yes, and if we'll take another example, that is absolute requirement by brain. Whatever our brain is there for brain, particularly functioning of brain, that is dependent upon the we can say glucose. Glucose act as a energy source for brain, and this when we will do prolonged fasting, or we can say prolonged hypoglycemia, that will lead to we can say very adversely affect on the functioning of brain. And when will another function that is very important one, that is required for oxidation of fat also. As we know, when we'll consume the fat products, there is digestion of fat is there through breakdown of the fatty acid, and that will go through the fatty acid oxidation. In fatty acid oxidation also go through this process of citric acid cycle, and in that citric acid cycle, that acetyl coenzyme A will combine with the oxaloacetate. This is very important one, and this oxaloacetate is predominantly derived from the carbohydrate, we can say. And we can say, or we can state that fat burn in the fuel of carbohydrates. And when we will see the next important function, that is synthesis of pentases. As we know, pentases are very important one for the, we can say that is important part of our DNAs, of our RNAs, and we can say coenzyme, that is NAD and FADs.
Yeah.
So then after that, when we consume the excess of carbohydrate, that carbohydrate will be deposited at the fat, we can say that is that leads to formation of fat, and that fat is stored in our adipose tissues. Yes. So then after that, there are another function is there, that is when we will say sometimes people are having different disorders, like particular we can say constipation is there. Then after that, diabetes is there. And when we will eat this carbohydrate, some carbohydrates are non-digestible carbohydrates are also there, and that carbohydrate improves the bowel motility, prevent the constipation, lower the cholesterol absorption in the body, as well as glucose tolerance is there. So sir, just I want to ask you, what are the different sources of carbohydrate? How we will get the carbohydrate from different sources?
That particularly you want to say the non-digestible or
no, just what are the different sources of carbohydrate?
Different sources, yes. Carbohydrates, if we take from simple sugars like glucose, fructose and other things, these are present in fruits and vegetables. These grains and honey, like that. These there a lot of sources are there. You have plant exudates like gum gati is itself a plant exudate. Other gums, some microbial origin. Then even in seaweeds we have carbohydrates. So daily we are taking lot of carbohydrates in our diet. Potatoes, everything means we have already talked.
Yes. So when we will see the requirements of carbohydrate, there are different well-balanced diet is very important for the human being, and we have to consume at least 40% of the whatever diet is there, that should be carbohydrate, and it will give the quick energy to the body also. So when we will check the carbohydrate, particularly carbohydrate, as we already discussed that there are carbohydrate are different two types of carbohydrate are there. Then particularly digestible carbohydrate are there, and another is a non-digestible carbohydrate. If we will check the digestible carbohydrate, that is starch is digestible one. Starch we will eat the food material, whatever the starch is there, that starch will convert into the simple sugar molecules by the actions of different enzyme in our body, and that small amount of the glucose that will absorb by our body, and that glucose is converted into the sugar energy molecule, ATP molecules, and this kind of there. And another portion of carbohydrate, that is non-digestible carbohydrate are there, and in non-digestible carbohydrate there are resistant starches are there. When we'll see, then after that we will see a different kind of fibers are there. Particularly fibers are very important. Fibers may be soluble fibers, and fibers may be insoluble fibers are there. So if we will take the insoluble fibers, that is hemicellulose is there, lignin is there, and certain fibers like pectin is there, that is digestible by our internal intestinal enzymes only, and this kind of things are there. It may be stated or nutritional waste. Sometimes we will state that this fiber are the nutritional waste, but this fiber is having very important role in our human health. So this kind of things are there. So when we will move into the next portion of this discussion, there are different beneficial effects of fibers are also there. That is, we can say this almost same functions are there, benefits are there. That is, prevent constipation is there, and then after that decrease GIT cancers, eliminate bacterial toxins. So many things are there. And if we will check the different effect, improves the glucose tolerance, reduces plasma cholesterol, then satiety value. When we will consume the more fibers, we will feel like मैंने खा लिया, like that kind of feeling is there. So but when we will process the different this particularly carbohydrate or particularly starch, there are different we can say changes are there
Yes, yes.
in case of this particularly this one. Before that, just I want to share that before discussing the different changes due to the processing, there are when we will consume this particular fiber in a large amount, there will be problems in absorption of protein, problem in absorption of certain minerals like calcium, phosphorus, then magnesium, that will be decreased. This absorption will be decreased. And sometimes what will happen when we will consume the fibers into our body, that fiber will be digested or fermented by the intestinal microflora or microbacterium, and that lead to causing flatulence, means sometimes gas formation is there.
Yes.
That may often result in discomfort of the persons. So what will be the solution for this particular things? That is drinking of plenty of water. We can drink and we can overcome the particular this adverse effect of the fiber. As we are going to discuss, already I told that we are going to discuss the different sources. Sources already sir has shared that one. The sources are for the dietary fiber, fruit, leafy vegetables, wheat, legumes, and sometimes grain also. Yes,
Yeah,
and we have to consume average 30 gram of fiber. That is recommended one. So particularly when we are discussing the different fibers and different sources and their impact on our body, when we will come to next portion of this discussion, that is important, very important, as we are going to process the food material, and that during that processing, whatever the changes that will happen, we will discuss just 2 or 3 changes. Sir, please share what are the different changes.
That's
there.
very important question. Thanks. How like our means concern like right now is how is starch gelatinized and then retrograded. Then what are these? What are the some effects?
So what is this? You have mentioned that
gelatinization. Gelatinization is we know that starch is insoluble in cold water. Now you take some starch and then water and then start heating it. So slowly the starch granules will start imbibing water. And then we increase the temperature. What happens? The starch granule burst, amylose comes out, and it start forming networking with the water molecules. And then crystalline structure, because starch is semi-crystalline. It has some amorphous structure and crystalline structure. So during gelatinization, crystalline structure is lost. So this way we can have this, for example, the gel means concentrated starch. Now we have example at home is halwa making. Like we are making halwa because flour, wheat flour or any other flour has starch. So when we heat it, then it start imbibing water and become gel type structure. Then so then we talk about retrogradation.
Yes.
Sir, retrogradation is the process when some crystalline, when we store the starch gel for some time, then some water comes out. So, which is called synersis and also retrogradation. Like what happens is crystalline structure, partial restoration of crystalline structure is there, and then we have. This occur faster in amylose because amylose is linear chain. So retrogradation also has some adverse effect like staling of bread. And
thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing this one.
Yeah.
Just I want to give another 2 examples of this one. That is in case of pasta we are doing, and in case of parboiled rice, this retrogradation and gelatinization will happen. And all we have discussed the major things related to carbohydrate. One is the classification, then after that different property, different functions, and different effect of processing on starch and fibers. We have discussed that one, and I would like to thanks sir, thanks for sharing your views, and also I would like to thanks all the learners and viewers of this program. Thank you so much.
So same from me. Thanks to all learners. Thanks to Dr. Dinkar Kamble and this resource, and thank you very much.